Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to the Bawa Space. My name is Shanika, and I'm the curator of public programs at the Jeffrey Bawa Trust. We moved to the Kannangara house that was designed and built by Bawa between 1959 and 61, just over a year ago. And the space now holds our archives, officers, reference library, and rotating exhibitions. We have just ended our second exhibition in this space, Ways of Knowing, and are working on something very exciting that will open in June this year. We are so happy to have Indudunu Kariyawasam as our first speaker in this new series of design talks. This series is generously supported by Lanka Tiles, and this will be an opportunity to engage with architects, designers, artists, and researchers 6 times a year. Indudunu's work brings together traditional sensibilities and modernist clarity. Based in Galle and Colombo, his practice spans residential, hospitality, and commercial projects, with a focus on functional design, material honesty, and craftsmanship. A big thank you to all those who joined us over the last weekend to visit Indudunu's Colombo studio through our Open House Colombo Spotlight series. I'm sure it will serve us well as Indudunu takes us through his presentation this evening. Thank you, and over to you.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for participating today. And I think it's a great honor to talk to you at the Jeffrey Bawa Space. And a very special thank to Jeffrey Bawa Trust, Shanika, and everyone of you in the team for organizing this so well. And let me start with moments of pause. So I'm going to show you and explain you 3 projects of mine in detail. And if I have time, I'll go for the 4th one. Just a brief introduction about myself, that I was born and raised in Galle, and I moved to Colombo in 2011 to study architecture. So it was CSA, City School of Architecture, where I got my architectural education. Unlike today's curriculum, what we had was a part-time course. So like in the mornings, we had to work and go to offices and work. And the evenings, we had to go for lectures. So that was the whole arrangement. So today, I divide my week into, a portion in Galle and portion in Colombo, and I do my practice accordingly. And in 2012, I met my mentor, architect Anuratna Bhushan, who is here today. Very delighted to see him in the audience. And I worked 3 offices. The first one is architect Anuratna Bhushan's office, and then architect Hiranti Velendava's, and the last office I worked was architect Valinda Kannangara's office, where I was working as a project architect. And I thought it'll be interesting for you to give some indication of some of the areas that I have studied quite extensively. If I'm to bring a few names, I would say Mies van der Rohe, Le Corbusier, Frank Lloyd Wright, IMP, Arne Jacobsen, and of course our very own Jeffrey Bawa. Just a few names among a few of my favorite 20th century architects. The beginning is basically I started my own practice in 2021. What happened was, so there was a small building, neglected building in our garden, which served as a kindergarten, and my mom was conducting it for 20 years. And the building was neglected for about a few years. Then I thought, why not converting and using it as my office? So that way, I just did minor alterations just to get the views of the garden and the paddy field around it. And as you see in this picture, it has 2 compartments: a place for me to work and a place and have meetings, and also a place for me to rest and sleep. So that's a very brief introduction about myself. And let me start with the first project I'm going to show you today, which is Villa 1740 in Galle Fort. So this stunning picture was taken by Kesar Ratnabhujan, who is here today with us. Basically, I'm going to mainly explain about this building you see here, built by the Dutch originally in the 1740s. And it has a very rare feature, which is the rooftop. I mean, this is kind of rare in Galle Fort. I think this is one of the 2 or 3 buildings in Galle Fort that has a rooftop, right? And so in 1998 and 1999, the building became a bit famous as a result of a movie, a Sinhala movie known as Pauru Alalu, which was shooted here in this space. So since then, significant alterations have been made by the previous owners. I just realized it after watching the movie. However, this was the exact measure drawing I got when I was undertaking the project. As you see here, it's a very typical arrangement of a Dutch house. You see the Peddler's Road as a main accessway, veranda, living room, and a courtyard with a small side block to have all the services. And also it has a secondary access, as you see here, from the Parawa Street. And that also has a small block, which is a later addition, but they have done it in such a way that it replicates the old building with a colonnade and a veranda, as you see here. So the task here was to divide the whole property into 2. The front portion, the ground floor portion, accessible from the Peddler Street as a shop, and the rest as a residence. So it's more of a shop house, but I would say in an exclusive sort of setting. So if you go to if I'm to show you the original measure drawing again. So what happened here is, you see 2 bedrooms here and just 2 toilets. It's almost like a mirror image arrangement. So it kind of bothered me because the main views and light and ventilation were taken from these windows, these openings that are facing the corridor. This corridor is a circulation space. People walk here and there, and it affects the privacy of the room. So I thought, why not relying on something within the room instead of relying on this circulation space? So then I came up with the idea of removing a portion of the roof so that it has natural light from the sky. So it doesn't need to always rely on these main windows that are facing the corridor. And the other thing here was, again, just for me to would like to tell you about this small staircase that was added later. Very originally, they had a staircase here, which is a timber staircase. I just realized it after the movie, but it wasn't there when I was undertaking. And this, instead, there was a straight flight staircase, as you see here in this plan, added by the previous owners. So we had to get rid of it because the idea was to give the whole space as a shop. So instead, I introduced a new staircase here to connect the house. And it has a connection with a bridge. Basically, you can see the staircase here in the upper floor, and with a small link or a connection or a bridge, let's call, to connect the old structure and the new addition of a staircase. And that's the plan of the attic floor with the terrace. Cross-section, if you see, it starts from the Peddler Street. You can see a very Dutch volume here, the very original Dutch volume you can see here, against a very contrasting modern addition. So this is more of a marriage between an old building and a new modern addition. Few more sections. And just a few pictures of the commercial space, the shop, from some pictures from the Peddler Street. But what I'm mainly interested in here is to show you the other access, which is the secondary access from the Parawa Street. As you see here, as soon as you enter from the Parawa Street, you see the block of rooms here. And in this picture, you can see like a glimpse of staircase that I introduced with the bridge to connect the 2 structures, the old and the new addition. And also there's a small powder room to cater the commercial property, as you see in this picture. A close-up view of the same space. You can see what's happening here with all the staircase and the link and the powder room here. A few more pictures of the powder room accessible from the commercial space. Just a detail of how the details meet each other, the old versus new. And let's get into one of the rooms in the ground floor. As you see here, I have introduced all white to get more light into the space and also as a contrast to the existing Dutch setting here. And in this picture, you can see the entire room of the new addition of the courtyard. And once all these doors and windows closed, this is acting as the main source of light and ventilation into the room. In a way, it serves as it's more like an altar of a church where you get light from the sky and lights up the whole space. And it has a small cubicle for the WC. And that's a close-up view of the courtyard. Few more, again, a view from the other room here. As you can see the context here. And the open-to-sky shower. And I thought, additionally, why not create a tiny strip of skylight? I just started removing a strip of roof here, just a 6-inch strip, to get additional light into the room. And in the noon time, it creates very interesting shadows and brings interesting colors into the room from the sky. Again, just to show you the detail of how the skylight works here. And the staircase is a sloped, reinforced slab covered with very elongated mullions, as you see here in the picture. The new addition, you can see some of the interior images of the staircase. It's a covered staircase. We wanted to protect it from the rain. A few more pictures of the details. And then the bridge, or the connector, let's call, spanning from the staircase to the main Dutch building. It's completely made out of wood. And this is how it merges with the context. And then the sequence of space, the staircase, the link or the bridge, and the veranda, accompanied with a dining space. Some shots of the dining space. And it has its own kitchen to serve people, which is a new addition to the space. Again, you can see the skylights to bring more light into the space. And then we are entering into the very original Dutch portion of the house, which is serving as the living or the lounge area of the house in the upper floor. So in this picture, all I have done is add a small geometrical object, as you see here, and I believe that enhances the whole volume of the existing structure. So if I'm to show you how it looked when I was undertaking, I haven't done any other changes. It's just this object. Simply saying it's a handrail with some storage space inside, and I think it's kind of tying up the whole space and turned into a very civilized living space. A shot taken during the night time. And if I am to show you the context, you can see the same stairway. That's the continuation of it into the master bedroom. Again, the detailing was done in such a way to bring more warmth and some to make the space as cozy as possible. I think this picture is something that I like to explain a bit more, because I think you can see the layers of space, which I like to see in architecture. You see the bedroom and the living space, the veranda, the bridge or the connector, and you can even see a portion of the newly added staircase over here. So that's the views of the master bedroom. It has this open vanity against the bathroom, as you see here. And this one, the wardrobes, I would like to speak a word about this. The requirement here was to design all the wardrobes without any doors, without any flaps. So that was the requirement. So I had a difficulty designing, wardrobes. Usually, when you have flaps, very simple timber flaps, it looks very simple, and when you close it, it just a simple rectilinear object. But when you open it, the joint, the 90-degree joint, usually we use 3/4 inch teak or any timber wooden planks meeting each other at a 90 degrees. So the joint usually don't look so great. It looks very, usually the joint doesn't look very great. So I was thinking, thinking about it and came up with the idea of just adding a tiny curved wedge at the edge. And now it looks very strong and it has a character. We were again experimenting with a few furniture items such as the towel hangers and toilet paper roll holders, and we tried our best to avoid steel because of the corrosion. The ocean is close by. And as a poet and a writer, my client wanted a space to sit and enjoy the surroundings of the Gold Fort. Then we decided to turn this space into a recreational, sort of a very relaxing space for him to sit and write and enjoy the evenings. And it has a small kitchenette too for him to have coffee or snacks or whatever. And that's a view of the terrace. Nighttime image of the same space. A few details. Yes, I think with that I can then get into the second project I'm going to show you, which is known as the factory. The name derives as a result of an old gems and jewelry workshop. So in this story, what happened was, this building was the main existing building that has about 4 stories. And the main accessway used to be this 10-foot road you see here in the plan. And then the building is about 35 years old, was neglected for a few years. And we thought of converting this into a boutique hotel, a 26-bedroom boutique hotel. The adjoining house was later purchased by the client, and the house next to it was also purchased by the client after some time. By having these 3 existing structures, we thought of converting this whole space into a boutique hotel, and we didn't demolish any structure. We kept all the structures. Instead, we started refurbishing them with a few additions. The zoning, bedrooms, we kept in the main block, the 4-story block. And then the lounge, we turned this house into a lounge, and the house number 2, let's call, we converted into a kitchen and a restaurant. And the new addition, which is an admin office, a rectilinear block dividing the whole property into 2. One is the public space, where you get all the restaurants, lounges, and then the private space with the rooms and the swimming pool and the bar. And also it is in a way acting as a small gateway. From here you can see, and also it creates a small separate access, service access from the other side. And then the bar and a co-working space, a new block again. And then the swimming pool at the back. And lawn is mainly that's the main breathing space, and I would say the focal point, the most important place here in the whole plot. Let's go one by one. And the lounge, this is how it looked when I was undertaking, a very neglected building. And we slowly started converting the space, and we changed it into a small lounge and a sitting area with a small reception, as you see here. And we converted into this, as you see here in this picture. Some of the internal shots of you can see a portion of the reception and a sitting area. This is how it looked. I mean, the same space, you barely can notice the arch here, which we have kept in this picture, you can see. And a few more details, a few more shots of the same lounge space. And details of the exterior. And then let me explain the second house, or kitchen and the restaurant. That's how it looked. Again, a neglected house. We kept the structure, and then we started slowly, removing the internal walls, and we kept a small hall as a restaurant, and we kept kitchens and all the services at the back. And this is the condition now. A few more shots from the outside. And once in some areas we just created some opening just to see beyond. And it has his own courtyard. We thought of using it as an outdoor dining space, a breakfast space, most probably. And the back is the kitchen. So I wanted to cover the kitchen and give ventilation and light from the top. And interestingly, it looks like a small barn from outside. And then we got into interiors. And of course, we removed a lot of walls, then we had to then rely on a big steel truss, as you see here. And furniture was added. And this wall here, this timber wall, I would just like to speak a word about it. It used to be the ceiling of the house. So we advised the contractor to carefully remove it. And I think he has done a great job. He removed it carefully, and we started reusing it for the wall. Some of the details of the interior. And then we are getting into the admin block, the new block. So the idea here is to cast a slab from one boundary to the other boundary, and keeping the main four-storied building as the backdrop. And in this cross section, you can see how the new block, the new rectilinear portion, is meeting with the old structure. A close-up view of the plan. I mean, it's a big office with all the accountants and general managers and so on. And you can see the two boundaries, this one and this one. In this dotted, you can see the slab is casted from one boundary to the other boundary, creating two main gateways. One is the main gateway, and this one, the other one is for services. And as you enter, this is from the main road, this is exactly what you get. You see the two houses, the lounge and the restaurants, and you can see the rectilinear block of the admin block in the front, and you barely see the four-storied old gems and jewelry workshop building at the back. And I thought of showing this picture I took during the construction just to show you the structural system. As you see, the columns, the skeleton is recessed, and the brick wall is wrapped around it. And it allowed me to create a very a glass window, uninterrupted glass window, so that you don't see any columns here. The idea is to have a floating slab and create two main gateways on both sides. And we are heading towards the main archway or the gateway. And you can see a glimpse of the swimming pool at the back and the main lawn. So that's the lawn and the swimming pool. And we thought of introducing all the important Sri Lankan trees such as kumbuk and nedung and even ebony were planted here just to cover the unnecessary structures in the neighborhood. another view of the lawn and the garden and the swimming pool. And that's the view from the lawn. And in this picture, you can see how the new the admin block is merging with the existing 4-storied building here. So that's the admin block entrance, and a few details. A black and white picture just to show how the geometries meet each other. And then the bar and the workspace. It has two levels. One is the co-working space, and the bar is on top. This is a side view of it. And this picture I took during the construction to show you how it merges the 3 blocks: the bar, the admin block, and the 4-storied existing building. And that's the completed image. So in this one, you can see the co-working space in the ground floor, and the bar, a smoker's pavilion, and a juice bar, and then the admin block. This picture was taken a couple of months ago during a student visit. That's a close-up view of the bar and the co-working space. And then the main block, the 4-storied building, which used to be an old gems and jewelry workshop. That was the condition when I was undertaking. So we started slowly, carefully, we started introducing rooms by strengthening the structure. And we ended up with this. So it altogether has 26 bedrooms. Views of the facade. And the ground floor bedroom level is below the level of the water level, as you see here, which I find rather interesting. And also this tiny strip of water is to create some gap, some breathing space between the lawn and the bedroom. The interiors of the room. Sorry. And this lamp, it's a custom-made lamp I specifically designed for this hotel. This was made by Glock, the lamp manufacturers. And few details of the wardrobe. And then I would like to mention a few things about this wall you see here, spanning from the building to the lift core and to the lift core to the building. The main purpose is to get privacy from the neighborhood so that it cuts all the unnecessary structures and allows scattered light into the courtyard and to the main bedrooms while allowing ventilation to pass through. It's completely a concrete structure. And in the morning, you can see the lift core is kind of lit up, and also it creates very interesting shadows, and the shadows are appearing onto the main bedroom doors, as you see in this picture. And then we are getting into the third project, which is Alisium Villa. What happened was I got a call from a gentleman, in the latter part of 2023. He's a Sri Lankan living in France, and he over the phone he told me that he has a design, and he started building a villa, and he started doing the foundation, and he said he started putting up the columns, and he realized the design. It was not. He was not very satisfied with the design, and he asked me whether I would like to undertake. And he sounded nice, and I thought of visiting the site. And that's the first picture I took when I was visiting the site. As you see here, it has 2 blocks. The first block, the front block is for the restaurant, and the rear block is for rooms. Then I measured it, and I plotted it, and I started developing it. So you can see the main access way, the road here, and the 2 blocks are shown in the green boxes. And I added a new block here, in between the 2 blocks to connect the 2 blocks. It's basically a staircase and a kitchen in the ground floor to connect the 2 blocks. And in the upper floor, it has a small open bar and a passage to direct towards the rooms. And that's a cross section. You can see the road and the front block, the rear block, and the new addition in the middle. And that's the picture I took during the opening ceremony. The middle block, the staircase, or the connector. And again, the same angle I took as you saw in the first image. The 2 blocks, the front block is the restaurant, and the rear block is for rooms. So this is again a picture I took during the opening ceremony. So at this moment, the restaurant was converted as a sort of a performing place for the singers. And that's a view from the main garden, looking at the bedrooms block. And there were a couple of stones here, and we thought of keeping, and we cleaned them, and we introduced some black gravel. We call it chipgal. On the ground, it kind of gives a feeling, like a zen, sort of a very soothing feeling in the garden. A view from the restaurant. And even the detail was done in such a way to make this building look very unique in Unawatuna. It looks, I think, compared to most of the other buildings you see on the road, it has some character. And I just want to make it look like a very special sort of project. Not just to glow it up or anything like that, just to show some order and some with some clean lines and with designs. And just a close-up view of the staircase. You see again a daytime shot of the same staircase. And the passage directing towards the bedrooms and the suites. So some of the internal shots. The bedrooms. And the rooftop bar. Again, the bar from the view from the road. And I thought of just including this picture I took during the construction stage. It looks like some guest from the wild is sort of appreciating what's happening. And I think I have time, so we can get into the 4th project, which is my own studio. I think some of you have visited this space in the last weekend. We had an open house event there. So in 2013, we bought a house, which is this, a 7-perch block at Model Farm Road. And and I started living here. And what happened was in 2024, my neighbor on this side, the back, wanted to sell his house. He was working at the golf course. And it was a low-income house, and he badly wanted money, and he really kept insisting us to buy the land. And then we decided to buy the land with the house. And it has its own access way from here, a very narrow, very alleyway kind of thing. Only a 3-wheeler can come. It doesn't have a proper access from the other side. So that's the house. This is how it looked when we were buying it. So we thought of completely refurbishing it by keeping the structure. The initial idea was to demolish the whole house and create a garden here, but then we had some practical issues of taking the debris because we can't take a lorry here. And even from the other side, we had to take my house to take all the debris. So instead, we thought of keeping the structure and refurbishing it. And so initial idea was to design 2-unit apartments, like 2 single-bedroom apartments, ground floor and upper floor. And so idea was to rent it out. Then I thought, I got more work in Colombo also, and then I thought, why not having my own space here? Then I thought of taking this space as my office, and currently I'm working, I'm using this space as my office. As you see here, you can see like a portion of my house here, and basically I enter from here, and it has a small courtyard. And then the workspace and a corridor, a lounge, and then the front garden. The upper floor almost has an identical setting. The only difference is the lounge is a little bigger than the ground floor. And the cross section. So that's the courtyard between my old house and the new block. And I would like to mention a few words about this chair and the table. This chair was designed by architect Anuraratne Bhushan. The design is here. So it's a fiberglass chair. You can keep it outside, inside. So I love it so much, so I thought of keeping it here. In fact, I take my breakfast there. And this was made by Mr. Ranjit Ratnavibhushana, brother of architect Anuraratne and so that's the view of the studio from the garden. So that's the workspace, accompanied by with another small kitchen, and curves were introduced to maintain the fluidity, because I wanted to see more. Rather than having a 90-degree, I thought it's always nice to have a curved edge, and that's the view of this. So that's the view from the studio, looking at the courtyard. And few shots of the courtyard from the studio. And then the walks, this is the lounge space, taken, that's the night shot. I usually go there to read and revolve these magazines here in the evening. So that's facing the west. You can see the western light coming. And it's fully designed to ventilate naturally. It's a fully naturally ventilated space. Although I use the air conditioner once in a while, it can completely ventilate naturally. And few shots from the lounge, looking at you can see a portion of the workspace here. So it's again the same space, like before the refurbishment. It's the same corridor. You can see. We kept most of the walls as it is. We don't want to collect so many debris. So still we had some debris. We had some demolition, but we tried our best to keep as much as possible instead of demolishing. And few details of the door handles and the stairway. And this tiny strip of window gives a glimpse of what's outside. You can see a portion of a skyscraper here in the Colombo. And that's the upper floor lounge, facing the western sun again. In the corridor, And this is the second workspace where my interns often come and work. Almost identical arrangement, the ground floor and upper floor is having, and the bedrooms. And this lamp was a gift I got from Mr. Ratnavibhushan, which he designed originally for Citadel Hotel in 1980s, if I'm not mistaken. And the upper floor bedroom, almost a similar arrangement. And that wonderful painting was drawn by Mr. Bandar, I recently got from the recent Kalapola. And that's from the other side, you know, it's totally a different neighborhood. So I didn't want to pop it up like a very special thing, so just wanted to have a very similar language, but in a bit of an organized manner. That's the exact shot. But once you go inside, it's the same, the space that you saw in the last slides. And these are a few experiments with the different types of coffee tables for the same house. So thank you very much. So.